Kansas City, Missouri. Poems. Prisoners, Boxie, Little Blue School, The Nun, Charcoal. Prisoners. This poem was based on my first encounter with the cruelty and senselessness of our prison system. Prisoners. Long gray lines of black men hammering on huge posts which would be removed at dusk by a John Deere tractor, entranced me in the summer hazes of my wandering youth. These men, chained together, swinging 10-pound hammers, glistened with sweat, and grunted as the sledges struck heavy on creosoted poles, driving them down inch by swing into fallow earth that would be seeded by someone else. I would visit these men summer after summer, watching the enormous power of their arms ridiculed by machines that removed their work and left it lying scattered, useless. And I began to understand the futility of some men's lives, caught in circumstances with no escape, except in the eyes of a little boy who had yet to meet his own John Deere. Boxie. Perhaps the first love of our lives is our first dog, and this was mine. Boxie. Aside from running through our youth, Boxie served the household by being an excellent hunting dog. When the air turned cool and the sugar maples erupted in geysers of red and orange, Boxie could hardly be contained. The tension in the week would build, and by Friday night, when Dad would come home exhausted and settle into a six-pack of Millers, with the ladies sitting coyly on the quarter moon, hardtack, bought in bulk, wrapped in wax paper, and Limburger cheese, the rotting stench driving us all from the kitchen, Boxie would jump and roll and moan with the need to hunt. On Saturday morning, as we ate our bacon and eggs, we could hear her barking between the house and the car, back and forth, braying for the adventure to begin. It was a wonderful time. We had an air hole in the trunk of the car, and once Boxie was shut in, she was perfectly quiet. For now the waiting was over, and the serious business of her life would begin. Little Blue School. In rural Missouri, there was no kindergarten to prepare you for first grade in elementary school. All grades were seated in one-room schoolhouse, and in my case, with a horrible teacher who viciously slapped a girl and prompted me to put a vengeful black snake in her desk. The snake and I were both expelled. Little Blue School. My particular modus operandi was to mouth mimic almost everything Miss Weeks said. Occasionally this would result in real laughter, but usually it just caused a small ripple of appreciation, and my dismissal to the dunce chair outside. Serious business in January. My memories are unpleasant. Sitting in the spirit-deadening cold with my tall conical hat, staring at the frozen cornfields beyond our little playground, or at the outhouse, an ugly little shed that saved me from total isolation. When a kid did come out to use the toilet, he or she would ignore me. But at recess, en masse, that same kid was merciless, dancing around me, shouting, "Dunce, dunce!" in the hope that I would get out of my chair to fight, and Miss Weeks could be summoned, paddle in hand. The Nun. After being expunged from Little Blue with my serpent friend, a nearby Catholic school seemed my only option, until I closed that religious door by hitting a girl in the desk behind me who was unraveling the beads in the Navajo belt my father had given me. I was beaten with a willow switch and sent home to wander in the forest of what was to become my third grade. The Nun. The Nun moved like an enormous ship down the aisles, slow, heavy, immutable. She could not be swerved, cajoled, or humored. There was no personality, only ironclad authority, as she headed toward the blackboard. Her weight tilted the entire room, desks, books, ink, children, all sliding precipitously into the lesson. My mind, like a star being pulled into a black hole, did not comprehend the dynamic of the gravitation, only its power. Questions did not exist in this new universe. Silence, order, discipline, my last chance. Charcoal. This poem describes the day my father lost his briquette company in the Kansas-Missouri floods of 1951. Charcoal. Charcoal is made from the ancient process of burning wood, compressing and treating its carbon into hardened briquettes that will burn down into ash while cooking thick sirloins that drip animal fat into new life as the oldest of paints to decorate the cave walls of my unassailable youth. I remember Father, blackened by the fire that took his factory, coming down a neighbor's dusty road in long strides of pain, to pick up the child and hold him sliding in sweat and tears, so that he would know that wood must burn to stay alive.